You see the
Excellent.
screen? Okay.
Yep. See the screen, and recording and transcription have started. So thank you, Diane. If you'll go ahead and put it in presentation mode, I will kick us off.
It is in presentation mode. Is it not showing as such?
Nope, not showing as such.
Yeah, but it could be the way I signed in through Teams.
When you click present, I think it goes into another tab or another window. So you might have to re-present. There we go.
There it is.
Okay.
All right. So good afternoon, or actually good evening, ladies. I am Leslie Thacker. And Barb here was just speaking. She and I are the co-presidents this year of the 2024 grant cycle. So super excited to be here. Starting at 5 after, we have a packed agenda, so we're going to move very quickly. Don't want you guys to think we have to go in and drain every slide, but we definitely want to get through the content tonight. We'll send this out. We've also got some interactive portions coming where we're going to ask you guys to complete some things, answer some things while we're working through. Diane, we just lost it again.
I know I had the wrong presentation. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. While we're working through the agenda. So first off, when Diane gets it back up, we'll go to the second slide. We really just want to say welcome to our first, hopefully annual fall town hall. Normally, we have our first member meeting in December, January, and there we go. In December or January, and we thought, you know what? We got some feedback of starting things a little bit earlier and the perception of we don't really kick off until January. So this is a first for us to do this, and we're extremely excited about the turnout. As well as the interest in it. So hopefully the others will get to watch the recording, or we'll follow up with those that were interested. But anyway, if you want to flip to the next slide, Diane, we really just want to say welcome to our potential members, to our new members, and to our renewing members. So thank you for joining. If you click to the next slide, today's agenda, like I said, it's pretty packed. We're just gave you the welcome. We are going to talk about who we are and how we do our work. What's our structure? We're going to talk about our current year strategy and focus, keeping in mind that we have prospects, new members, and renewing members. We want to make sure we touch a little bit on the basics of who we are and what we do. And for those that are renewing, we want to talk a little bit about our structure because some things have changed. We also want to talk about our strategy and focus so that you guys have an understanding what it is we're focusing on this year and how we plan to execute. We'll touch on seasons of impact and what you guys can expect over the next 12 months. Actually 10 months now. And we'll have some membership asks for you on the end. So Barb, I gave myself a little note with that icon that I think you were going to pop up a survey. We wanted to hear from those of you who are interested in giving your feedback. If we do continue to do this town hall next year, what would your preference be on timing? So Barb put a link in the chat. If you could just click into that and respond to that survey, we would appreciate it. And hopefully if there's time at the end, we can definitely share some of the feedback that's coming in. It will help shape where we're moving in the future. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Barb Kaufman.
Thank you. And again, just one more link to go out there and say, please fill out these forms. I hope if you saw in our newsletters, we were talking about this event. Not only is this our opportunity to tell you what our strategy is going to be like this year based upon the feedback we've already received, but we really want to get more feedback from you so that we can be responsive. So thanks in advance for filling out all these forms. Okay, so who are we? Impact100 Metro Detroit. Well, our mission is to serve as catalysts for transformation in Metro Detroit by aligning women through collective giving to support local nonprofit organizations. That really focuses on 3 pillars: trying to harness the power and talents of women. That's just by our opportunity to try to get everyone involved in the process of philanthropy through your time, your talents, educating you on how to get involved. There's been barriers for that in women all across the city, and we're just trying to do what we can to bring everyone together and work together on that. The second one is to award high impact grants. You know that the grant awards that we give out each year in increments of $100,000, and that's intentional. We're trying to focus the impact on our community, which, by the way, is the Tri-County area of Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties. But we're also trying to make sure that our impact is allowing the local nonprofits to dream big, to come up with new ideas and challenge them to increase their footprint or expand what they're doing in ways that they've never dreamed of before. And the last pillar is to build relationships amongst our members. Through our events and otherwise, we're trying to bring together I would say, highly involved, motivated, and smart, talented women from all across Metro Detroit to meet each other, to support each other, and to work together towards these goals. So the model that we work under is to get at least 100 women coming together, having each woman donate $1,000 of their own. And then together through a process, we have our finalists come down to 5 finalists at the end, and every single member gets to vote on where they think this award should go. And at the end of that is $100,000 donated to a local charity. And I can tell you each year, I feel personally like I'm writing that $100,000 check myself to those organizations, which is a wonderful feeling. But it's also important as we come together, once again, to say that we see ourselves as philanthropists within the city and trying to overcome the barriers women have historically faced in this arena. Typically, women have gotten involved with their time and talents and not been the ones to be involved with their pocketbook. And by coming together and collectively joining our funds and feeling like we're making a huge impact, we're just showing how powerful us women can be together. So I am very excited to say that I was one of the founding members back in 2016. And I remember thinking in the living room, gosh, if we just keep going, we might actually make it to $1 million giving away in the city. And that seemed so monumentally huge to me at the time. But we're lucky enough now, as we're in our 10th year of giving, that we've awarded $1.6 million to local nonprofits. We've spotlighted here what our awards have been over the 10 years. And what I want to make special of on the next slide, Diane, is in 2020, you'll notice that it went from 1 to 2 because we reached that hurdle of getting over 200 members, which allowed us to give to individual $100,000. But just to point out, at that point, we also made a strategic decision within our own company here that said, once we've made it past a threshold of $100,000 grants, all the remaining funds would be split equally amongst the other of the 5 finalists that make it to the banquet. I think that helped us feel like every single one of our finalists was impacted in some way. And it gave us the opportunity to keep striving towards making it to that next $300,000 mark, which is our goal.
Thank you, Barb. I will go ahead and take the next one. So we're pretty excited about some changes we've made to our org structure. We've got 4 main pillars that you'll see in this visual: corporate administration, grant administration, marketing administration, and membership administration. We also added something new that you'll see on the left: advisory. Definitely finding it beneficial to have women who have been on previous boards or even here and have rolled off of the board, but we don't want to lose that talent and their experience. So that's something new this year that we're extremely proud of. And what you're not seeing here is underneath each of these boxes, this is executive board. There are board members, there are leadership, there are committee positions. So kind of like it says along the left, we really took a look at things to help expand vertically, horizontally, so that we could go deeper and create smaller positions. Have a lot of women who are saying, hey, I can do something small, can't commit for a whole cycle. I can commit for a couple weeks, a couple hours. How do I get involved? So this really helped us do just that. So you'll hear more about this towards the end. And then obviously we're always available to bring you up to speed if you're interested. But yeah, we're super excited about how this is moving in bringing more women in for the collective giving and just running our organization. So I think I am going to pass it back to Barb.
Yeah. Sure. So for our 2024 grant year, we decided to have some strategic initiatives that focus on for all intents and purposes, the member experience. In the past, we've taken a lot of time to really define and refine our grant process for the nonprofits. And we've made it such that we've got some great feedback from them on how the process works and how easy it is to get involved, and how we've shepherded them all the way down to the end. But this year, just listening to what we've heard as feedback in all the different opportunities to talk to our members, we've decided that focusing on membership is important this year. We're going to be making strategic, data-driven decisions, focusing on the member experience at every event, making attending the events even better for our members, and making staying connected with us even easier. I'd like to pass it off to talk about strategic, data-driven decisions to Amy Anger, who is our Governance and Strategic Insights Chair.
Hello, everybody.
The one on the left with the wonderful curly hair. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm so glad all of you are here. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm also with Barb, one of the founding members. And I remember when Emily Eichenhorn was driving us to be able to do that initial give of $50,000. She just was an absolute driving force and got us there in a way that I didn't think was going to be possible in that shortened grant cycle. When we talk about making strategic decisions, for those of you who are in an organization or involved with an organization that talks about like, how are we level setting and making sure we're making the right decision and that we need data? Data is only as good as the people who give it to you. And as our members, we need for you to provide us with your accurate information and the accurate data. So that picture is your data team. For those of you who don't know my cohort there, my sister, that's Princess Castleberry. The two of us will be combing through the data, and we will be looking at what we don't have, and we're probably going to be asking you some questions, maybe some surveys. I know we don't want to survey people to death. On the other hand, there will be some things that we just really need to know in order to improve that member experience. So if you could please respond to those, make sure, again, your data is updated with us so we can get in touch with you, because what we want to do is make sure that we're giving you the experience from this that you want, so that we can have a positive impact on you, our membership, as we go out and make that positive impact in our community. So that's what you'll see this year from the data committee of the two of us there. But I also have one personal request, and this is going to catch Barb and Leslie a little off guard. But you can't totally script me, for those of you who know me. My personal request is, as a member, we ask you to be as engaged as you want to be, but for me, just please be a vocal advocate for this organization, because you never know who will say, oh my gosh, Eileen's involved, Tammy's involved, Laura's involved, I have to join. So the only way we can start to give to more nonprofits is for you guys to step up and say, I have joined, please help me impact our community. And with that, here we go.
We'll pass the mic off to Megan McCandish, who is our chair of membership.
Good evening, everyone. As Barb said, I'm Megan McCandlish. I'm the membership chair for this year. And our focus on the membership committee is really on the membership journey and having an improved experience. As Barb and Leslie already alluded to, we got feedback about how we needed to change some things from a membership perspective, and we're doing that in a few different ways already. The first is more points of contact. We want to make sure that when you join, we're reaching out to you pretty immediately and asking you for how you want to be involved. If you're saying that you want to be involved in certain committees, whether that be events, grant review, financial review, we don't want there to be a dead space from when you sign up on the website to hearing from someone months later. So we're really focusing on making sure that we're reaching out to you, seeing how you want to be involved. And as Amy kind of said, the great thing about Impact is you can be as involved as you want, or you can just donate your money. But we want to make sure that we're connecting you with the right people if there are certain aspects of the organization that you want to be involved in. We're also doing that through what we're calling event ambassadors, which I think Leslie will talk about a little bit more on the next slide, making sure from a membership perspective at all events that we have someone there to answer questions for you. We've revamped the newsletters. The newsletters go out the first Tuesday of every month. In there, you'll be able to see upcoming events. You'll learn what we're doing as an organization and how you can help get involved. And you'll also hear about what our past grantees are up to. And then the final thing is we're working to revamp our website. I believe the timeline for that is hopefully the end of this year. And we're really looking to have a better integration with our Neon CRM and payment portal, just to make it a seamless user experience. So when you go on and you pay for your membership, whether you sign up for events, that it's easy to use and you're not having to enter duplicate information. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Leslie to talk about events.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, Maggie, who is our events chair, who sits on the board, could not be with us tonight, had some flight delays and called in a favor. So we graciously stepped in, but we really want to make our events even better. We know that our events are fabulous, and you could tell here if you were on the call early, a lot of these women have been, coming to these events, been a member year after year, and really have developed a network of friends. And so we'd love to have you involved in that too. We want to give more event lead time. And I don't know if any of you guys who were at the Big Give actually noticed that on the back of the program, we had the full list of events over the 12 months. So that was a strategic move on our part of making sure that we could get in front of everybody's calendar, and we will continue to do that. So you guys should have that. And in the newsletter, Kim also included the events as well. So make sure you see that. If not, reach out to us. We can get you those events to block your calendar. Greater event distribution. We're going to be using social media more frequently than we have in the past. And then Maggie's also doing a great job with her events committee on making sure we have different locations. Some of the feedback we got was, let's spread it out. So I think Women of Impact, you'll notice, it's not at the same place it was for the past couple of years. So that's super exciting. So we definitely want to hear from you as well of locations. One of the things Barb's going to do is pop something in the comments, again, in events form. Let's hear from you guys on where else you would like us to consider those events, and give some feedback there so that Maggie can take that into consideration. Megan touched on the event ambassador program, making sure that when folks come to an event, we have somebody there who is responsible for gathering information, introducing, making sure they're, doing a name tag so we know, are you a new member, a returning member, a prospect, somebody from one of our nonprofits. And then member recognition, that falls in line with the name tags as well. Doing a better job to make sure that you guys know, hey, Barb is a founding member, and so is Amy and Emily. A lot of great insight there that you'll want to speak to them at the events. So with that, I am going to introduce Kim, and please ask that you check the chat and fill out that event form to give us some information. Thank you.
So hi, everyone. I am glad to be here with everyone today. I am also one of those founding members, and I cannot believe how awesome this organization has grown with everyone who has joined, who has been a part of it. I'm super excited. So as a person who is sending out the majority of our communications, it's really important to me to know not only if our members are receiving all of those emails, but also how each of you prefers to be contacted. So as Leslie said, there's going to be another survey in the chat. Sorry, there's so many of these, but we really are trying to touch each one of you and make sure that we're providing you with everything that you need. So and we'll have a little bit of time at the end of my little spiel here to fill that out. But if you can take a minute to do that, that would be great. So basically, all of you should receive several automated emails every time that you either join, renew, register for an event. Those come from our CRM. I noticed there was some questions in the chat about what Neon is. That's our CRM. We manage our memberships, events, and all of our data through that. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. But you'll also receive personal emails that welcome you when you join, or that you'll get we'll ask if you need information. You may receive an invoice from us too if you either haven't renewed your membership or if you've pledged to join and it's time to make a payment. So you'll receive those kinds of personal things, and then you'll receive newsletters, special event invitations, especially to our larger events like the Women with Impact Breakfast and the Big Give. And you'll receive voting instructions around the time of the Big Gives and other emails as needed. So we hope that our goal is to always have you feel informed and connected. And basically now I'm going to hand you back off to Barb to cover our next slide.
But before I do that, I happen to be the person who can look at the forms. And we had 22 people fill out the first one and only 9 fill out the event. So I'm going to give you 2 seconds to fill that out. And then I will pop in the chat the next communication form. Like I said, it really does help us to know your feedback. There you go. Before I move on, the very first communication form question is whether or not you're receiving our newsletter. We just want to be sure that that's not something that's going into spam or otherwise. So for sure, in that slide, if you are not receiving our newsletter, indicate no and make sure you have your name and email there, and we can follow up with you to make sure that that's something you're getting. We want to be sure that you're informed. Okay, let's see. Okay. Can someone click on the communication form just to make sure it's working? Okay, there we go. All right, got it. Now some are coming in. All right, so next up, our seasons of impact. Members in the past have indicated to us that they didn't really know when does the membership year start? When does it end? How does it work? So we thought we'd go through that. At the end of the Big Give from last year in May is the beginning of our new membership season. You'll know that at the Big Give, whatever money is in the tank, we gather that all up in one big bag and we give it out in awards. And at the end of that, starting June 1, we start right back to zero and start back with a whole new membership pool. So your membership runs from June 1st to May 31st, and it has basically 4 seasons of sort of how we interact within our year. During summer, that's pretty much our time to go out and visit previous year grantees so we can see the grants in action. And at this point, I'd like to do a little shout out to Laura Silverman and Sarah Saltzman, who are the people that set up all those events that we had in June, July, and August for service at Pontiac Lighthouse and a visit to both Mercy Education Services and First Step. So thanks to them. In the fall, that's when we engage members and nonprofits like we're doing tonight, making sure you understand how to get involved and reaching out to all of our nonprofits to start to let them know when our grant is going to open so that they're informed, and as well as holding a big training session so that they can get trained on how to write a grant. In the winter, we submit and review the applications, and that's really our operational work time. We have a lot of people engaged, usually about 100 people every year from our organization, working through the process of narrowing down from the many, many applications we get down to our top 5. And then in the spring, as you know, we have our opportunity to go out to we have our opportunity to go out and reveal who our top 5 finalists are, and then have our big signature event in May, which is where we pick the finalists. If you go to the next slide, we can walk through what those events are for this year. As we said in summer, we had 2 visits to see our grants in action, and those were the 2 winners from this past year, seeing where that money is going to be going. And then the Gather and Serve was specially picked to go back to one of the organizations that won our grant in the past, so we could see how that grant came to fruition and offer an opportunity for our hands to get involved in Gather and Serve. Now in the fall, we're starting with virtual town hall so that everybody gets a chance as new members to jump in and see what we're all about. So hopefully you're getting some good information tonight. I want to point special attention out to the Women with Impact Breakfast. That is a breakfast that's, I would say, an opportunity to have a panel of speakers that represents philanthropists in the Metro Detroit area that have really gone out and had done some fabulous work in the industry. And it's absolutely always inspiring for me to hear their stories. In November, we have Meet the Nonprofits, where our nonprofits are getting trained on how to write a grant, and we learn a little bit about maybe one of the organizations or one of the hot topics that came out of our last grant season, so that we can better understand what's going on in the community. In the winter, and in December, we have a mix and mingle. It's sort of like a holiday fun get together downtown Detroit at Bass Blue, which is always a lot of fun. In January, the Get Involved gathering is basically our big kickoff for what we talked about, our work season, where we get as many people involved as we can in the grant cycle. But we're also opening it up for people to get involved in other small ways in different communities just within the Impact organization. At the end of winter, we'll have another gather and serve where we get a chance to go out into the community and do the work ourselves. And then in the spring, we start with a mix and mingle. And then on April 16th, we talked about that finalist reveal gathering. This is a new event for us this year. And instead of getting an email about that, to know who our top 5 finalists are, we're going to have a big, sort of fun event where we can all get together and celebrate and meet them as well. Landing into the big give on May 21st, which is where we will do our voting. So if you go to the next slide, I want to make sure you have the details on these big signature events, because we'd like you to put those on your calendar. The Women with Impact breakfast, again, we talked about, it's Wednesday, and since it's a breakfast, that's early in the morning from 8 to 9:30. It's there's a fee to attend, and there's also an opportunity for corporate sponsorship. If you happen to be involved with an organization that might want to support us, that's a great opportunity for them to get their name out there as a big supporter in our organization. And then, of course, the Big Give celebration dinner, which is Wednesday, May 21st. And again, that's a dinner, so that'll be in the evening. And from here, I would like to pass this off to Eileen Berner, who is our head of applicant relations and who oversees all that big work we do to narrow down those applications. Eileen?
Good, thanks, Barb. The grant was the blood of the organization. And when I got involved about 5 years ago, I dove into the grant review process and I haven't looked back. And it's just a great way to really understand what this organization does and to learn about the incredible nonprofits in our Tri-County area. So it is truly what we are destined to do as an organization. So the grant review process is where we evaluate nonprofit applications.
Hey, Eileen, you're breaking up again. I don't know if we want somebody else to cover it or to give you a second chance.
Turn off my camera.
Yeah, try that.
I'm going to turn off my camera. Is that better?
Sounds like it. Keep
Can
going.
you hear me? Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. My days.
No.
So anyway, we narrow it down to 5 finalists in May, and that's what we vote on in May. So the grant cycle runs from November through May. Am I still... No. Is that a yes or no?
No, you're breaking up. Diane, do you want to cover this one? Hate to put you on the spot.
Sure. I was gonna say Leslie, but I'll do it. Okay, so I'm the grant review committee chair. So I work with Eileen she's in the broader perspective, but like she was saying, we run from November until May. In November and December, Eileen and I are getting things together for the grant cycle, setting up slide room, getting people to volunteer, finding our leads, and all of that so that we're ready to go. And then in December, January, that's when the application opens up to our nonprofits. They complete the applications. We do a quick eligibility check. And then in February is when we do our application review. The members volunteer to review we get about 100+ applications divided into 5 different categories. So we do the review in February, we rate them, we then narrow them down to ones that we want to go to site visits on. But in March is when the financial review committee kicks in. We want to make sure that these organizations meet our criteria during our application review, but also are financially fit enough to handle the amount of our grants if they were to win. So there's a whole month where they go through a review of the finances that the organizations submit to make sure that they align with our criteria. And then we narrowed down for each group, they narrowed down to 3 finalists, and we go out to those organizations and complete site visits. We can do it virtually or in person. And we just make sure that if we have any questions from the application, we get clarification so that we have enough information to pick our 1 finalist per each of the 5 groups. So we end up with 5 finalists after the site visits. And then in April, like Leslie said, I think it was Leslie, we're going to have a new event to reveal our 5 finalists. That has come out by email before, which will still be communicated, but it just gives us a chance to talk a little bit more about the finalists and make it an event to talk about these 5. And then those 5 go into the big give where everybody gets 1 vote, and we come out with our winners from those 5. And there's a little note at the bottom. We have to have a cutoff at some point for membership so that we know what we're giving away. So everybody that's registered or paying by December 31st can participate in grant review. So we're coming for you.
Thank you, Diane. I'll go ahead and take the next one.
Okay.
Oh, nope, you got this one.
Okay. So like I said, there's 5 areas. So we break the grants into one of these areas. When an organization submits their grant, they pick the specific area that they're focused on for their project. And so then as a member, you can choose which of these 5 areas that you want to participate in to review the grants in that area. They vary in the number of applications per area, but we tend to have about 100 applications that divide into these 5 groups. So we span the different areas of need within the organization so that we have a equal opportunity to make an impact. And like I said, each of these areas will pick 1 finalist to come through to the big give. So we'll have 5 finalists for everybody to vote on.
Excellent. Thank you, Diane. Thanks for pitch hitting. Appreciate it. Our membership ask. So before we move into the next portion, I mentioned in the beginning for the agenda, we were going to tell you a little bit who we are, a little bit about what's changed and what our strategy is this year. We're coming to the portion where we really want to talk about the membership ask and would like to go through a little bit about consider volunteering. We've talked a bit about that. We've got some more details there. Growing the grant. We mentioned up front that, we've already hit the $200,000 mark. Obviously, if we give away grants of $100,000, the next milestone for us would be $300,000 in growing the grant. Being a brand ambassador, we'll talk about how we've made things easier. And I know Amy gave a selfless plug on, making sure that you are the voice for this. We've got some better ways, some easier ways for you to also, I think some of us have our swag on, for you to be a brand ambassador as well. Thank you, Diane, wearing it proudly, and Kim. And then each one reach one. We'll close out with talking about, the campaign that we would like to have for this year, which is the each one reach one. So with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Megan from membership. I lied, not passing it back yet. I'm covering the next 2. She's like, no, not me. I'm covering the next 2. So when we talk about volunteering, that was our first ask. And again, not to come out here and beg and plead, but we've heard from a lot of you, we'd like to be more involved. How can you create something that's for me? And honestly, Kim knows, I'm looking at her face, but Kim knows there are so many small jobs, even taking photographs, right? Having somebody be there and take photographs, greet somebody with a handshake, a nice hug, a follow-up. So there are a lot of things out there, and we showed you the org structure in the beginning. Advisory. We're looking for folks who have been on boards before that could bring a different perspective, some experience. Would love to have you, even if it's hey, we're going to meet for lunch and let's just talk through things. Really looking to, gain that insight. Corporate administration and grant administration, not to drain those 2. We'll talk about what we really need. But if you've got your background, legal, technology, administrative, we've got small jobs. Grant administration, Diane mentioned that. Communication, facilitation, training, simple things of just reaching out to a nonprofit and getting some additional information, building those relationships with committee members. We can go to the next slide. And then the other 3 areas, marketing, membership, those obviously are self-explanatory, but we're always looking for folks who can help spread the word, help create some branding, membership, be there at events, help with events, help to select locations, check things out, pick the menus, you know, whatever it takes to have a great event. And then on the other, this is the one I really want to hit on the most. Whatever unique talents you have, one of the things that we don't necessarily have are job roles and or your skills or experience. And knowing a little bit more about you, and that was what Amy was saying, we may ask you some of these questions. You know, maybe you are a lawyer and maybe we have a quick question about a grantee that we just want to run something by you. So understanding who you are is going to really help us fill this niche of just having somebody to pick somebody's brain or run things through. So that is our membership ask for you. And if we go to one more slide, I think our current needs right now are really to have event ambassadors. You've seen from last year to this year, we've got 12 events already planned. We're looking to bring some event ambassadors on board who are just going to show up, smile, help us understand who was there, you know, pass out the name tags, etc. It can be as large or small as you're looking for, one event or many. Technology administrators. Mel is not on the call today. I believe she is traveling, but she is the technology chair on the board. She did a great job over the last 2 years of getting us the nonprofit version of Office 365, which is why we're actually seeing this on Teams and not Zoom. But we really could use some help with some folks who know Office 365 from the administrative side, from the SharePoint side, Power Automate, Power Apps, even if it's just to pick your brain and understand how we could be architecting things. So really needing some of that that experience on our side. In the next one, we've got CRM, data reporting analyst. Amy hit on the fact that, you know, we really want to make data-driven decisions, and we have a lot of data at our fingertips. I know Jennifer's on the call, and we talked to her a little bit when we were chit-chatting before the call officially kicked off, and she's doing a great job of working with Kim to start getting that data together. But we've got a lot of data to comb through and to organize and to get into Power BI reports. So having somebody who knows a little bit about a CRM to partner with us is going to be really beneficial. And then social media content creators. I am not sure if Trisha is on the call, but she has done the social media.
I am.
Oh, yay. She has done the social media. We'd love to be able to give her a hand because we're going to be more active. And thank you, Trisha, over the years, because we're going to be more active in posting things, just having a catalog of things. If we know we want to give a holiday message, there's no reason it can't be written today and be, you know, sitting in a folder waiting for us to send when that day gets there. So some people who are interested in just helping out and showing their creative talents, we would love to hear from you. And I think at this point, Barb, you were going to put a form in the chat to gauge folks' level of interest, so that we can reach out to you if you were one who said, hey, I'm ready to start, you know, doing a little bit more or having a small role. We would love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
So
I put the
now
link in again. Yes. And again, this is not one of those places where you should be afraid to raise your hand, because there are lots of very, very small jobs and so many times where we just need to reach out on a phone call. So please don't hesitate to let us know that you're someone we can reach out to.
So Barb, do you mind if I give one shameless compliment to you real quick? So this is also a safe place to learn, gals. When we first started, I was a corporate lawyer in-house and had no finance background. And I joined the finance review committee because I wanted to learn how to properly read a financial statement. And Barb Kaufman was the person leading that committee, and it was a safe place for me to learn what was important in a financial statement. So if you're seeing these areas of needs and you're like, gosh, I really don't know much about social media, but I'd like to learn it, lots of hands, right? We're willing. You don't have to be an expert in any of these areas. You can be somebody who says, I want to learn this area and I'm willing to do the work that needs to be done to learn this area. So don't step back if you don't have the experience. We can also pair you with people who do have the experience, and there's just lots of work to be done. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you guys off track, but I just wanted to share that.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing is, and it's been mentioned several times, as a board, we feel that to make the biggest impact we can in our community, we want to reach that level of being able to give 3 $100,000 grants. We've been able to do the 2 for the last few years. We want to elevate it to the next level, which means that our target membership for this year is 300 women. As of today, we have 112 women that have pledged. Of those 112, 70 have joined or renewed, and of those 70, 33 are paid in full. So we're asking, if you are one of those pledged women, please go on the website, join, renew, set up your payment information. But the other thing that we really want to ask is that, as Amy said, you're a voice for our organization. You're talking about us. You're bringing women to the events. If everyone reaches out and brings one new member in, then we feel like we can really make that 300 a target goal. So, really go out there, and all of the events, the majority of them can be member and non-member. So I feel like if you come to one of these events, you are going to be moved to want to join. It's a wonderful organization. And when you see it in action, I just think that you're going to be moved to join. So I'm going to turn it over to Kim now to talk about payment options for membership.
Okay, thank you, Megan. So now that we all have up-to-date information on our goals, how do we get there? So here's a bit of information on how easy it is to join and to pay. We offer a whole bunch of different payment options to make sure that we meet the individual needs of our members. The categories on this slide are taken directly from our membership page on our website. I know that Barb will share the link to that at some point, I think toward the end. And so each payment option is described on our website as well. So I'm just going to give a very brief overview. You can pay in full via check, credit card, or donor advised fund, or you can make monthly payments, which is the second one. And so in that instance, you'll make your first donation online, and then each month afterwards, we'll deduct that monthly amount from your credit card automatically. So you don't even have to think about it. The amount that you'll pay per month will change depending on the time of year that you join. So basically, the sooner you join after the big give, the lower your monthly payment will be, because as you saw in our membership year, we need all members to be paid by April so that they can vote in May. So if you start paying in June, you're going to be paying $100 a month. If you join later, then that monthly amount will go up a little bit because it won't be spread over as many months. A lot of you probably work for companies who offer matching grants or payments. So be sure to ask your employer if they offer such a program. They can actually lower your cost by a substantial amount. The last two categories are for people who may either be fully sponsored by a friend or by their company. And then the last one is there are many women out there who might not be able to make a membership payment at all. And we often have either companies or generous members who will donate extra and above their membership cost. And we put away some of those dollars to help support women who might need it. The only other thing that I'd really love for people to know is that we did take a lot of time trying to make these options work for have everyone find one that works for them. But each membership form asks for different information, and it's super helpful to us if you fill out that form completely so that we know exactly how you're paying, and so we can watch for those payments as they come in and make sure your membership account is fully up to date. So now I am going to send it back to Leslie, and she's going to talk about how to be a proud Impact 100 brand ambassador.
Leslie,
can I jump in for just 1 second? Sorry about that.
To jump in too. Go ahead, Barb.
Oh, go ahead. You first. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that the one thing that's missing from that slide, Kim, is that you can also choose to donate a membership of your own. So like at that last one for the supported membership, I know it sort of says there occasionally members or sponsors will donate funds. You can do that. It's okay. If you want to say, here's my $1,100 and here's another $1,100, please use it in a way that's useful, or less than $1,100. If you've got $1,500 in your budget for giving, you can give us $1,100 and that's your membership for you. And the other $400 can go to support. You don't have to give a full membership in order to be able to help support somebody else from being able to participate.
Thanks, Emily. Good call.
And the one other thing I wanted to make sure and point out is you saw above, I did put in the chat, the membership to say both join or pledge. If you click on that link, under the options to join, the last one is I'm interested in joining and want to learn more. Sometimes people are with us all along and they know they want to be a member, but maybe they make all of their payments right in December before the end of the year for their tax return or otherwise. It is so much easier for us to be able to plan how big a venue we need for the big give and for other things if we know who wants to be a member, and then we can obviously work out the payment details later. So please don't hesitate. If you think I am, but I didn't want to pay right this very second, well, just go ahead and click there and pledge so that we know that you're out there. Okay.
And
right,
that
turning it
pledge
back
form
over
is right on that same membership page, just so you know, it's just at the bottom of the list of those 5. There's another one on there for pledging.
Thank you, Kim. I think I will take it home, and somehow we're only about 3 minutes over. So excellent job, ladies. The third ask that we have is to be a brand ambassador. We've talked a little bit about it. A lot of us wore our swag today. Trisha, who's also on the call, who has been running brand apparel for a while. She's now focusing more on social media. So we said, hey, let's try to do something a little bit different. And we partnered with a company called Squad Locker. There are probably over 100 items on the website now. So you see in the image, if you go under membership and you scroll down to the third option, which is the Impact100 Metro Detroit merchandise. Oh, Barb's got her her tank top that
Putting
is
a
now
hat
a hat.
on. Yeah. It's non-professional tank top worn as a hat. Go on.
Yes. So we're super excited. I know several of us have ordered to try it out. So far, so good. So check it out. Give us the feedback. There is I believe it's 10% of that will come back to the organization as well. So there is a 10% donation that's included to help us with administrative fees. So super excited. There's some great winter coats, hats, bags, socks, anything you want, you name it, it's there. Just reach out to we'll give you some contacts at the end of it, at the end of this with secretary information. If you ever run into any problems, that's the most generic email you can use to help, but it's fully supported by Squad Locker. So thank you for that. The other thing that's not on here, but should have been on here, is we have business cards. Mine are in my bag. We have business cards. So when you're at an event, make sure that you get a stack of them. That's the other way to be a brand ambassador, is to make sure you're passing those out. So if you'll flip to the next one. This is our final slide on our membership ask. It's the Each One Reach One campaign. So what we've highlighted down there are some ways that you can help us out. One, be a champion. Obviously, we've talked about this and many of us touched on, just have the casual conversations. You never know who's interested. Didn't realize you were a part of that. Let's go. Let's do it. Be a brand ambassador, which we just talked about through our branded apparel, as well as the business cards for distribution. Be a connector. You guys have so many in your network. Just pass along the invitations. Most of our events, except the 2, all of our events, there is no charge associated with them. Just the big give and the breakfast are a charge, but don't be afraid to pass those events along. Be an influencer. Go on social media. I know Trisha's putting together a little bit of a packet too that we'll put out at some point in the near future about how to actually utilize social media for liking and sharing, and giving you guys a challenge on just commenting on it to make sure that folks are seeing us and that you're present in, all of those communications. Obviously, an educator. Our newsletter that's been revamped gives a lot of information. Don't be afraid to forward that. Educate folks on who we are and what we do, and then be an advocate. We're going to be coming out with some email templates and some social media templates to make sure that if you see something that you like, or a newsletter or a post or an event, and you don't know exactly what to say or how to break the ice on inviting folks, we'll have some pre-canned templates that you're welcome to use. So with that, we've talked a lot about our next target is really $300,000, which means 300 members. So this is a great way that you guys can get involved in helping us reach that goal. So Barbara, I'm going to kick it back over to you. I think you were going to throw a membership link as well. I don't know that we have this out on the website, but probably something we can put in the near future. I mentioned that we're all using Office 365, and so we all have Impact 100 emails. So that's a huge step in the right direction for us. But we'll get this deck out to you as well. You can always email Secretary at Impact 100 Metro Detroit, but these are the individual groups or the individual women who are responsible for that particular area of the organization.
Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah.
Well, all that we can say from here is thank you for being part of us. Thank you for being with us tonight, willing to learn about us tonight, and giving the floor open for anyone who has any questions. And I'm also going to put a link in the chat. I know that sometimes people are not all that comfortable unmuting in a situation where there's a lot of people on. If you have a question that you want us to follow up with, just you can put it in the form. But by all means, now I'm leaving the floor open for anyone who has a question about the organization. You can raise your hand or you can just unmute and jump in. It's fine.
Hey, Barb, there's a question in the chat about where to send checks if someone's writing a check.
Oh, hold on, I can do that. Let me look up. There's a PO box. And
Yep.
That was from me. I couldn't see to unmute.
That's okay, Randy. I decided I'd
Randy,
monitor
I'm
the check.
so happy to see you here.
Thank you. Me too. It's been very interesting.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Okay, did that work? Yeah, okay, there's the address for the PO
Okay,
box, and
thanks.
that's where all of our checks go. Wonderful.
With 4
And
minutes
when
left,
we were
are there any
talking
other?
about, oh yeah, when we were talking about donating, I think I was going to do a little plug. I think Lori's been the one that's said this all along. It's us women who are banding together to do the work, but we certainly don't mind the partners who stand next to us to support us in ways of donating on their own. So do not hesitate to think of that as an option.
I'd jump in here too that Randy or anybody else who wants to pay by check, if you're coming to an event, you can also bring your check that way and it will make it to where it needs to be.
All right, with 3 minutes left, are there any members that have anything else you'd like to add to the conversation?
I'm a member. I've been a member now for I just renewed, so I'm going into my second year. This was an amazing town hall. I learned so much. I feel even more connected. This was really a well done, great job. I'm looking forward to diving in and want to find 1 or 2 more members to come along with me. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Kelly.
And the more you get involved, the more connected you'll feel.
I feel like Eileen and I go way back. 2 years on the grants.
Absolutely. We're sisters now.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, ladies, we won't hold you up. I'm proud to say that we did it in 52 minutes. So way to go, everybody. Diane, don't disconnect so we can make sure that we got everything from the chat. It looks like Emily's been tracking, but I'm not sure if we grabbed all the names. So folks start dropping. Really appreciate your attendance and looking forward to this great cycle with all of you.
It's going to be a great 10th year.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
300, here we come.
That's right. Let's go.
That's right.
Yes, here. All right, thank you guys.